Okay, David, continue with what you were saying there.
You know, the exponential curve is now heading straight upwards because as more and more people understand the basics of what are going on, they talk to more people and the whole thing expands. So you reach a point eventually when it's an explosion. And we're absolutely on the cusp of that now. In fact, we're already beginning to see some of it. So, you know, this is a wonderful time. This is not a time to get depressed and run away and try to find some, you know, some land to hide in away from everybody. This is a time to run straight at this because these people, I'm absolutely have no doubt whatsoever, are starting to panic about what's happening in terms of public awareness of their game.
If you go to Google Trends and look at davidicke.com, Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, Rents.com, all the hundreds of huge sites, my two are the biggest individually. Infowars is the largest alternative site, Prison Planet's the second largest, and there's Rents and Icke and others. If you look at them on the trends, it looks like this. I want to zoom in on this on the PrisonPlanet.tv camera over here if we can. And this is basically what the trend looks from 2003 when they started Google Trends, tracking all the sites, to 2008. You can go pull these up on the Google Trends site. Anyone can look at this for themselves. And the curve, the growth curve is exactly the same for all of these alternative media consciousness expanding, you know, lie breaking websites. It is hyperbolic. It is straight up, David Icke.
Yeah. So, you know, anyone that's sitting out there and is sort of frightened about doing anything or getting involved or the rest of it, you know, there are millions and millions and millions of people gathering now all over the world. We just need to get together and deal with this because we're in a position now where we're heading to a time when we can. You know, I look back a few years and my goodness me, you thought, well, is anything going to change? But crikey, this is dreamland compared with where we were a few years ago.
Well, just God bless you, David. And again, I've said this the last two times you've been on, but people still try to make hay out of it, and you intelligently ignore it. They probably interviewed me for 3 hours off and on about you when a British crew was here for Channel 4, and the one little smart-ass thing I said ended up being in the film about you being a turd in the punch bowl because people weren't ready to accept some of the things you were saying, and then I would have trouble with the basics. And I've apologized for that, but I'm going to do it again because you've been so big about it and forgiving me, and also because I know that information is used out there still by people to try to drive a wedge. So I'll say it again. Yeah. I apologize.
No problem, Alex. You know, we all have different opinions at different times, and they're not always correct, and they're not.
We all grow. We all grow.
Yeah, of course we do. And what we need to do is drop the anything that divides us, any fault lines, any of this nonsense, because together we're going to sort this. Divided, we're not.
Well, I think all of us that are awakening are right. It's just we've got different perspectives.
Exactly.
And then I've just had a chance to move and see things from different angles. Let's go ahead and, I mean, what's different from what you're saying about an evil overarching force behind it all with what Christians are saying? Really, again, it's all perspective. Let's go ahead and go back to the full transmission.
It's over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor, the rich.
Final segment with David Icke. Only have time to take a few final calls with him because I have some special information I'm going to be covering.
Everybody knows.
Let's go ahead and jam in. Who is up next here, John? I got confused with the calls. Mark in PA? Oh, John in Canada. John in Canada, you're on the air with David Icke.
How's it going there, Alex?
Good, sir.
Awesome. I just want to thank you guys very much for giving us like an alternate source of international news right now, and enjoy your show greatly. Alex, did you know that this last Christmas here in Canada was the first white one that we've had across the country since like 1974?
Yes, global cooling is happening because the sun has the first time in 300 years of recording it no sunspots, which are the huge flares, and so the Earth is rapidly cooling.
This is another area, Alex and John, where Obama comes into play. It's another one of his solutions in the agenda behind him. You people will have noticed that his, if you like, environmental, energy, science advisor network of people are all, if you like, worshippers of Al Gore's version of global warming. And you're going to see Barack Obama pushing forward policies, ludicrous policies, to deal with a problem that's not actually caused by what they claim it is.
Yeah, and well, we just missed the big carbon tax thing here with the last election. It was one of the main platforms for the Liberal Party. And I've talked to some people about the Liberal Party and how they're involved with, it's not just the Liberal Party now either, it's also the Conservatives who are involved with the Power Corporation of Canada, who in turn is also linked with the genocide in Sudan. And every prime minister we've had in Canada almost since Trudeau, including Trudeau, has all been like on the board of directors for the Power Corporation of Canada. And Paul Volcker actually was on the International Advisory Committee as well. And you tell people this and they go, oh, that's just business. It's got nothing to do with politics or running the country.
David, comments?
Business in terms of the Illuminati is control. I mean, that's what business is for. It's just, they're just arms of control. This is why when I hear people of the left dismissing the global conspiracy and saying globalization is just greedy corporations, it's not greedy corporations. Corporations are a vehicle for this network to impose globalization and centralized control on the planet. They're not the origin of it. They're the vehicle for it.
And the elites admit they're setting up a world dictatorship. That's what's all elites have always tried to get total domination, and to deny that is to deny history. Thank you so much, John. Quickly, Mark in Pennsylvania, you're on the air with David Icke, the one, the only.
Hello, this is Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Hello. I want to thank both of you for opening my perceptions as well as many others around the planet to the truth of what is really happening. And one thing that I'm pretty much a non-traditionalist, a non-conformist, but there's many out there who aren't, and they're busy doing what they're doing, and they're following what they believe in they want to believe in the good of government, they want to believe in the good in their community, and all of this. But the reality is these things are happening, and they're not even aware of it. Well, when I start to share these things, as well as others, I'm sure I'm not alone. When you share these ideas, these perceptions with people, at first they look at you like, oh, that can't be, and then they look at you, then they're in shock, and then they're like the deer in the headlights. So what comes up to me, and I appreciate very much that you guys are opening our perceptions to these things that are happening and continuing to investigate and research and find out what they're continuing to do. But here's the thing: when it comes down to it, people are in shock at first, and then they don't know what to do. So, and I've listened, I've watched your show or listened to your show, Alex, many, many times, and I've read your materials, Mr. Icke, and the thing about it is when you boil it all down, people don't know what to do, like taking simple steps of what to do to respond.
All right, I hear you. We have to end this here in just a moment. I'm going to let you go, and I'm sorry, no more time to go to Tim, Rob, and many others that are holding, and I want David to be able to close out in the last minute here. Last time we had David on, the time before that, he went through, just say no to national ID cards. Say no to giving up your personal information. Start growing a garden. Start talking to your neighbors about the elite. The awakening is the solution, overturning the false paradigm, expanding the horizon. David?
Yeah, once you break out of mind, the program, and into consciousness, then you instinctively know what your contribution is, and you go for it, because when you become conscious, you let go of one of the great expressions of the mind construct, which is fear. But also, this relatively tiny network that's manipulating the lives of billions can only do it with the help and support and subservience of the billions. They can't do it otherwise. And if we stop cooperating en masse in all these areas that Alex just listed and many others, then the system cannot work. It can't. They can't impose their will on billions of people unless the billions accept it.
What would happen if everybody wrote Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or DavidIcke.com on all the paper money? That's already waking up. A lot of people coming to the site are because of people doing that. What would happen if people made copies of my films or, handed out David Icke documentaries? What is happening? We're seeing we're having an effect. We've just got to push that much harder. David, when's a good time? Because I forgot that I invited you to town. You'd agreed when we were on a month ago. When's a good time to call and talk to you and try to look at some calendars and figure out when it's good, say 4 or 5 months in the future, to get you to Austin, Texas?
Okay, well, tomorrow's fine, or Monday's fine.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow because I'm going to be out of town a little bit next week. Jason Burns is going to be sitting in for a few days. But I will call you, in the evening?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, David, we really appreciate your time. DavidIcke.com. Folks, check it out there. Great materials. And we appreciate everything you're doing, David.
Thanks, Alex. Same to you.
You bet. Take care. Cheers. There goes David Icke from the United Kingdom joining us for the last hour and 40 minutes.